Hey guys, this is Captain Frugal reporting for duty. I'm going to give you the top and the bottom 3 comics of the month of July 26th, 2022. Alright guys, as usual, you hear all my papers rattling there with my notes for the top and the bottom. You know, I only read 9 issues this time, so I only had 9 issues on my pull list. A big difference from last week where I had probably about double. I forgot what the number was, but I know it was a lot more. You know, overall this week was a little different too. This week I didn't think had as many high highs and low lows. It was a lot of meh, just meh. And it is what it is. But this week I'm going to start a little different because I like to mix it up. I'm going to start with the bottom 3 this time. So let's talk about the bottom 3, and then afterwards we'll talk about the ones I think you should go out and get or have the highest score anyway. So let's go at the bottom. My bottom number 3 was Amazing Spider-Man number 6. Now it does have numbering for legacy number. It would have been number 900. So it was an extra long issue. And so you'd think, okay, they're going to pack a lot of love in this issue. And don't get me wrong, it had some interesting key points there, but it did miss the mark some. I thought the original story was okay, and it had decent art, but it really wasn't anything that really was real deep into the character, which, you know, I think they were trying to go deep and just ended up being in the shallow end. Second, the library story was silly, but it was decent. And then the next one had Jimmy Kimmel. And boy, that was a lame story. It was really lame. I think they just put Kimmel in there, you know, because they like to have that leftist talk show host kind of thing. It really didn't add anything. So really this whole story was a mixed bag. It just was, throughout the whole thing. I gave it a 7.05 out of 10. So once again, nothing spectacular. It wasn't an epic fail or anything. It missed the mark. It just didn't really do it. All right, for my bottom number 2, I gave to Venom number 9 with a 7.01. Once again, that's Venom number 9 with a 7.01. I thought the art was good. And the thing is, I just have not been a big fan of the storylines. But now, you know what? I have to say, this particular issue I thought was one of the better ones. I, for some reason, enjoy this issue. I'm not a big fan of time-hopping stories either. I never have been a big fan of let's hop through time things. It just seems like it's such an easy fix. Once you use that, just go back and stop it before anything would happen in the first place. But it just, you know, it just doesn't do it for me. But it wasn't really that bad. So I gave it a 7.01. I wouldn't run out and buy it necessarily unless you're already invested in this. I wouldn't say because of this issue alone you need to go out and get all the issues. It was just okay. It was passable. So once again, that was Venom number 9, and my number 1 at the bottom. And once again, even with this being at the bottom doesn't mean it was bad. Just for the record, this was Captain America: Symbol of Truth number 7 of 10. Now I'm a Sam Wilson fan. I like him, once again, as Falcon more, so maybe there's some bias here, but I try to leave that out. I thought the art in this story was quite good. I think the story was decent as well. And I liked the fact that it had Doctor Doom in it. For some reason, if you're going to go with political, use Doctor Doom. I think that's a good way to do it. I would really like to see a story that delves more in depth with Doctor Doom. I think that could make something really good there. So once again, this story was not bad. It was a 7 out of 10. So the bottom wasn't really dropping hard on this one. So now we'll go to the top, and then we'll go through what was the rest, the other 3 that were left that I read. So going to my number 3, here my papers going there. I gave my number 3 to Robin number 16. Once again, that's Robin number 16. I gave it a 7.3 out of 10. You know, can Robin save Flatline? What's going on here? I think the book has solid art style for the type of book it is. And for some reason, I really like the Lord Deathman. For some reason, I like that character. He's cheesy, I know, but I don't know. There's something about him. I just like him. I find this series, for some reason, good. I've been enjoying it. Once again, from a guy that couldn't stand Damian, I've been enjoying the Robin series. Once again, that was a 7.3. All right, my number 2 was, this one surprises me too, The Variants number 2. I gave a 7.6 out of 10. Once again, that's The Variants number 2. You know, I'm not a huge Gail Simone's fan. She's did pretty good with Batgirl or Batwoman. I can't remember what. I think it was Batgirl. And then she's had a lot of misses, if you ask me. But since, you know, there are some questions I do have there too. Like, since when does a woman just kiss another woman? When Tigra just kisses Jessica, it's just like, why did you do that? What was the point of that happening in the story? Maybe there's something I'm missing there, but I just don't think that's normal. But maybe that's just me. I mean, do you normally kiss your female friends goodbye? If you're another female, I just don't get it. I've never kissed my guy friends goodbye, that's for sure. Well, anyway, I also, though, I have to say, I like how Gail wrote the family dynamic, especially with Danny. And it's not just Danny, their little girl, but Danny Rand and how he's part of their extended family, if you will. I really appreciate how she put some time into that. I think she did good on that. So I have to praise Gail for that as well. And the art was pretty good, and the story has been pretty good. I've been interested. So if you haven't been reading the variants, this might be one to check out. So unless she drops the ball, which she can do, or start going over the deep end, which she can do with her political views and things like that, or social commentary, this has a potential to be a pretty good little series. But that's just my opinions. Once again, I gave that a solid score with a, clear my throat there, a 7.6 out of 10. Now, my number 1. This one I don't think is going to be any surprise for everybody that's been watching this series. It was Task Force Z, number 10. I gave it an 8 out of 10. You know, I think it has a really nice twist. Now, spoiler alert here. If you haven't been reading it or plan on reading it, don't listen to this part. I'm going to count it down and I'm going to give you a spoiler. 3, 2, 1, here it goes. There's a nice twist with the Bane character in this series. Okay? And I can't believe it, but this book has found a way, in my opinion, to make the Bloom character a really interesting character. I mean, really, I could have given a hoot about this character and cared less, but for some reason with this series, they make me like this Bloom character, so I'm appreciating it. And I will say the art continues to be solid throughout. If you've not been reading Task Force Z, they're only at issue 10. I strongly suggest this might be one that you'd be missing out if you didn't pick up. I gave it, once again, an 8 out of 10. I really liked it. So now let's go for the rest. As I said, it wasn't a really big week, but a lot of meh in the middle of the road kind of books. So you didn't see the highest, as I said, I had was an 8. Now I do grade pretty hard. A 7 is pretty much standard. So it has to be better than standard to get higher than a 7. So, you know, 9s are very, very rare. And so anyway, here we go. Another one that I read that didn't rank in the top or bottom was Young Justice Targets number 2. I gave it a 7.1 out of 10. I think this is much better than the Dark Crisis Young Justice. So if you want a Young Justice fix or the continuation, if you will, of the cartoon series, some reading into that, I think this is probably going to be the way to go. And I like Young Justice. That the current one, Dark Crisis Young Justice, has been just, ugh. Terrible book. Anyway, this one had solid art and story. Young Justice number 2. Once again, I've been enjoying it. Another one I tried was Ant-Man number 1. I gave it a 7.2 out of 10. It had some great work with the retro art style. I really like how they mimicked the retro art style. I think they did phenomenal there. There was a nice nod to the other Ant-Men in this comic series, little mini series as well. And I think, the art style, the story even, the writing of it is even fitting the time period for that section of the story. So if you like Ant-Man, this is probably a book to check out. Now, it's not all going to be dealt probably in the past like this, of course, based on the way the story's going, but it's just the writing was on point, the style was on point, and I hope they can continue with that. I really think this is a good book to check out, especially if you are an Ant-Man fan. All right, let's see another issue here that didn't make the top or bottom. Are you ready for this one? Iron Cat number 2. Now, I did not realize there was an Iron Cat number 2 because I missed Iron Cat number 1, so I went back and got that, read Iron Cat number 1, and then read Iron Cat number 2, and I thought, the art's good. The art's solid for this. You need a good artist that can draw women really well, and especially if you are writing for the Black Cat. There's something about her, and you know what I'm talking about. And the story was decent, too. I was a little surprised, though. I don't think they had to sexualize a relationship in the book to make the point stand out, but they did. That makes me scratch my head a little bit, but I conferred with some of my other comic buddies, and they said this isn't the first time for her, so okay, I'll let that go then. I gave this book a 7.25 out of 10. If you like Black Cat, this one might be a good one for you to check out as well. All right, and let's see here. Whoop, that's 3, 6. I thought I said I had 9. Let me go through my notes here. I must be missing one. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, dun, 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 dun. No, I did 3. Yeah, I did 3. No wonder. I did Young Justice once again. I did Ant-Man, and I did Iron Cat. That's the other 3. All right, well, there's my top and bottom 3, as well as the rest that I read in my pull list. Did I miss anything? Is there anything I should be checking out? Also, thank these people right here. Without these people, these videos would not be possible. They continue to help with their Patreon and my Subscribe Star, which helps keep this channel going. Also, you can do a one-time donation down there with the link to our Streamlabs link one time, where you're going to get, by the way, if you join our Patreon Subscribe Star, all kinds of special stuff. We do videos ahead of time sometimes. I do videos, extended cuts that have more info on it than the other ones have, or just videos that are just special to them. And I've got more coming. I have even more special things coming, as well as music too, where you can download those tracks. So thank you everyone for your time. I greatly appreciate it. You're all awesome, and I'm here hopefully doing you justice. Until next time, keep it frugal.